Hello guys, once again it's Matt, and today we have another video. Thank you all the members, all the patrons, make sure to subscribe. And today we are going to talk about the F-15, guys. The F-15 has many variants of it, and we're going to talk about if we can even get the earlier variants. If you don't know, the F-15A entered in service, initial service, right in the middle of the 70s, and until like 1985, even with the F-15C, some sources claim that it never got flares until like 1985, right? Until the MSIP upgrades started to happen. Even the engines of the C and the A until 1985 were basically the same, at 83, 84, 85. General idea of that era, right? So maybe, like, how would they do this? Imagine an F-15A with the older engines, which in game would be basically the same. They basically have the same power. In real life, the newer engines of the C from the mid 80s were basically just reliability improvements and overall just the lack of compressor stalls that the early F-15s had. But in general, the radar would have a little bit better of performance in certain areas, but in general would be the same aircraft, right? And normally they add these early aircraft. They do, right? So will they add? That's the question. I think we have three options to consider here. The first one would be to add the F-15A from the 70s, 70s weaponry, no flares and chaff in a lower BR. That would be the first option. The second option is add the F-15A from the 70s, but with apparently a 1985 upgrade that some F-15As got. That would mean that he got the ALE40 flares and chaff pod, the same as the, module, the same as the F-16, the F-5E, so 90 probably flares and chaff with two of these systems, right, installed in the aircraft. And then afterwards that, they can add even the F-15C from 1985 onwards with the better equipment that he had, better engines, better fuel that the C had, right? Better radars, everything. This is the second option. And the third option would be to jump already for the later models of the C, so from 1985 onwards, with the better everything, and flares and chaff and everything, and add the F-15A as an event vehicle or a premium. I don't know how, what's the best option. Probably the second one would be the best, right? But even then, it's like, it's problematic, because the thing is, I really doubt that Gaijin will just jump a version of an aircraft like this, a very important one like this. We probably will see the F-15A or an F-16C being the first BVR weapon aircraft for the Israelis, right? And they probably will add this first variant, the A. And as I said, with the A, it's not a big deal, to be honest. Maybe I'm creating too much of a problem over here, but it's either like adding with flares or not adding with flares. If you add with flares, it's a 1985 version, should have 1985 missiles in my opinion. But missiles also, it's another thing that are used normally to balance it out. So A9Ls, we already have aircraft that could carry better missiles, but we don't. So probably, as I was saying, the second option would be the best thing ever, and I think it will be what it happens, right? Maybe people just don't, some people might not want the A anyway, right? Just jump for the C already, get done with it. But as I said, I doubt the Gaijin will just basically jump these major variant of an aircraft, right? And I think the major difference would be that it wouldn't be a 70s A, like it would be a 1985 A. So it would still be an A, but with flares and chaff, which is fine. So it would be competitive for 12.0. But what do you think? Honestly, right? Wouldn't it be cool to see a 70s proper A version, without flares and chaff and just a very low BR? Imagine the performance of the F-15A, the missiles that we will have, like A9Ls or AIM-7Fs and whatever, but in like an 11.0, because it doesn't have flares. It would be crazy, man. It would be very interesting to fly that. That's why maybe another option would be even to add the F-15A early with these like early missiles, even AIM-9Js maybe, and AIM-72s, right? As an event vehicle, as a 70s very early F-15A. It would be very cool to see that. And then a second A in the tech tree in the upcoming patch. Maybe they add for the summer update, for the summer event coming up next month, for example. Add this event F-15A without the flares and very early missiles. And then, just like they did with the F4F early, add the F4F late, or in this case the F-15A late, as a tech tree aircraft in the next patch. You know, I don't know. I feel like it would be a very, very cool addition. I just hate when they actually just jump generations of aircraft like they normally do sometimes, in the sense of not generations of aircraft, but for example, we never had too much of early 70s technology in the game. We already jumped straight for like late 70s, early 80s. What I mean about that is, for example, we never had an earlier version of the F4E. We got one with the Agile Eagle package, a higher BR, you know, flares and chaff, better missiles and stuff, instead of just having a late 60s version of it without all of that and a lower BR, right? And I kind of don't like this idea because it takes a little bit of away from the game, you know. We would jump, like in one BR jump, you can jump 20 years sometimes. And that's one of the reasons, right? So having this early F-15A without anything would be very, very cool for me personally. But the more probable thing that they will do is add the F-15A, as I said, 70s version with 70s missiles, late 70s missiles like the AIM-9L and AIM-7F, and then add the MSIP upgrade 2 upgrade, which basically will add a flare package to it, making it be able to fight the current aircraft that are in top tier and still defend itself. You know, it's the most probable thing, even though I kind of think that they should just add a very early version anyway, even if it's an event vehicle. It would be so cool, especially against, I don't know, maybe they could add, imagine if they add like two iconic aircraft in the same patch, like the MiG-25 and the F-15A. I already say this, I mean, the F-15A was basically made to counter the MiG-25. And, I mean, having a 70s version of the F-15A without the flares would basically mean that the MiG-25 has a chance, the PD has a chance of winning against an F-15, right? Because it would be harder to actually avoid the missiles. So, I don't know, it's just like ideas going on the wind, but let me know in the comments what you think about it. What option do you think the F-15 will have when it's added? Do you think you'll see directly just an F-15C from the late 80s with the new engine and everything? We will see maybe the F-15A very capped with nothing, you know, no flares and very early missiles. We will see a mix between the two with the F-15A from the 70s with 70s weapons, but with flares and chaff upgrades from the 80s. What do you think we will see? And how soon do you think the F-15 will be added? Because I have a feeling that we will see it very, very soon, since the Gripen is coming very, very soon, technically until the end of the year, a little bit more, right? The F-15 should come very, very soon, and it's a very interesting aircraft. I cannot wait to fight it and fight with it. And yeah, guys, anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Let me know in the comments, as I said, and I see you guys on the next one. Bye, guys. See ya.